Hey, everybody. Hey, how is everybody doing? I hope all is well with you guys. You guys see my guest? Look, I'm going to put him in the green room, but I just want you to see who will be joining us. This is going to be an amazing show. And actually, we're doing something so different that I'm so excited. So, those of you who did not catch what we're going to do, we're going to do some girl talk about saving life, as well as we're doing the domestic. Today, this is all about talking about domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Month. And so, what perfect way is for us to do some girl talk about domestic violence, what domestic violence look like, and all that, and how it impacts our life. But before I do that, I want first of all and foremost welcome to another episode of Envision Me podcast. You know what we do? We come on here every week. We do some girl talk. We talk about how our what ifs and I can'ts, and how do we get to our what's next. But this week is going to be a little different. And also wanted to let you know tonight's show is sponsored by, look, I got to make my coin somewhere, right? So tonight's show is sponsored by Vision Board. It is all about working on your what's next and how to map it out with the Vision Board kit. Vision Board kit has actually two kits now, you guys. So exciting. It has one kit for 30 days and another kit for 90 days. The 90-day kit is so extensive, it's so large. So if you're interested in getting either of the kits, drop it in the feed below. Also, note if you have any questions or if you want to give a shout out, come on in. Drop them in the feed. You know, I have some amazing guests. Did you guys see who I have? I can't wait till you meet them. So the first woman I'm going to bring on, as you may know or not know, today is National Savings Day. So I thought we'll bring on a financial advisor that can help you with your finance. So I am going to first bring on the first guest, and this is AJ.
Hi,
Welcome.
everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I think I got a little excited. I'm doing great today.
I know, me too. I listen. I know I had to bring down my excitement because I'm so excited that I have two amazing powerhouse that's going to come on here, and you know what we always do. You know, we have our girl talk, and this is perfect time to do it. Now I have two of you guys, so we can do more girl talk here. So. As you heard, today is National Savings Day. But before we go in and give people tips on how to do some savings, first of all, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Will do. Hi, everyone. My name is Aunjane. Feel free to call me AJ if you cannot pronounce that. I am not actually an advisor yet. I will be by December, but I am a licensed life insurance agent and financial consultant for families. I target mainly just families with children who are trying to just, level up in life, but I do not turn anyone away. So if you're an individual that wants a family in the future, I'm still your girl to talk to. I'm also in the funding space. So once I finish nurturing the families, the adults, I help people get access to the funding in different industries. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. So, first of all, I'm going to call you AJ because you know I mess up your first name so wrong. So, no disrespect. So, I'm going to put the disclaimer out there now so no one won't say anything later on to us. So, first and foremost, how did you even get into, impacting people financially? How did you get into it?
Well, actually, I've been around real estate and property management since I was very little, about 6 years old. My mom started in that industry, and I was at work with her all the time due to the lack of babysitting. So I learned how to do files, and I also, as I got older, saw the process a little bit more. And then when I turned 17, I got into management myself in smaller properties. And I was kind of the person that would help you get the place, and then if you didn't pay, I kicked you out of the place. And that was the hard part for me. I genuinely care for people. I don't want to see people lose everything. And then going through it myself after working that job was very hard because I got to see kind of what they went through. And I'm like, I did this to people. And it was kind of a guilt for me. So I started trying to do this at work, and they just would get so mad. Like, why are you trying to budget with them? Charge them the fees. And I didn't want to. I was like, I believe that if you had someone to talk to, you could actually do this. And so that's how I got started. I felt like since it wasn't welcomed there, I would create my own and maybe those people will find me.
I so love that. So, as you know, we always talk about this. There are women around the world that are actually listening to the podcast. By the time they see this, they're probably listening to the podcast. And there is someone who is sitting there looking like, yeah, that sounds like me, that I want to be more financially stable. What would be a piece of advice that you would give to that person?
Honestly, I would just say start with auditing first, like being honest with yourself about, okay, where's my money really going? Is it fast food? Is it those nail appointments? Is it the hair? Like, where is all the money going? And how can you cut back little by little? I'm not the person that's going to tell you to go cold turkey. I'm just a fan of just weaning yourself off a little bit. Go from 5 days a week at Starbucks to maybe trying 3 to 1, stuff like that. That's what I would say.
Okay, that's more reasonable. I can do when you said nails, I looked at mine like, she gonna tell me to get rid of my nails? Man, oh man. But I like the idea that you talk about, do it gradually. Work, start working your way backwards on things like that. And also
Yeah.
too, I actually have someone who's on the side over here saying that they would love to get into the arena that you're in, but yet she's working in the corporate world. What would be a piece of advice if someone wanted to do like you're doing? What would you suggest?
Well, honestly, I worked in corporate and then I networked after work. So, what I would say is come up with a plan for how you want to do this. Who do you want to help? And of course, reach out to me if you need help. Look, I didn't need more people like me. I'm not about competition. Like, are you doing something with your ear? You can't hear me?
No, you're good. No, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
you're
I'm
good.
making sure. All right, because I have these headphones in. But anyway, so yeah, do your plan, figure out who you want to talk to, and find some networking events that start when you get off of work if you're able to go. I would say don't pressure yourself to make it to all of them. Maybe try to go to one or two a week. Sometimes they do some during lunch times. I used to do all of them. I go to lunch, eat, network, pass some cards around. I was pregnant as well. I was about 6 months pregnant doing this. And then I would get off and go network from about 6 to 8 and then go home. So you can do it.
Absolutely. I'm with you. No matter, we all face those obstacles, but I love how you still persevered and kept going and kept moving forward. And now look where you're at. And I'm excited that you'll be certified by December. That is amazing. I'm so
Yes,
proud of you. Congratulations.
you.
So now as you had left corporate,
Uh-huh.
how did it make you feel that you left corporate?
Honestly, it was a relief because I was having a hard time with that decision. The corporate place I was working at, I didn't like that I had business going on outside of the place. They would see me come back, and obviously I'm on a call, getting a client off the phone, and they were like, "What is she doing?" So they sent someone to ask me, and then she kind of busted the bubble, and then this big complaint tried to go in. So I was like, okay. So I actually went back to the home where I went after I lost everything when I was about, was I 20? Maybe. And then I was in my grandmother's house in her spare room, and I was pregnant with my first baby. And so I started my business plan there. I started praying every day, just trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do.
Right.
And then, I just like, cool, I have to breathe here because I'm having to reflect. I just took a moment I went to that place. I went back to my grandma's house and in my right hour for work, I was still in my work clothes and stuff. And I just kind of envisioned myself in that moment, like, okay, this is where the dream started. It's time to go for it. And then I kind of felt something come over me like, okay, if you leave this room, there's no going back. We're going to put in our notice and we're going to go for it. I was like, all right. It was like as if that part of myself was like speaking to me in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any regrets?
Oh no, I'm happy. I love helping people.
What do you any regrets in the decision to leave in corporate? Because so many of us get so complacent and get so, oh, I can't do it. So they always need to hear that other person that did it and hear how did you feel when you left, and do you have any regrets in leaving?
Absolutely not. I'm so happy and free. Like I genuinely at the time, like it wasn't really the best move for my family. So I had a lot of pressure. Yes, I did. But I didn't, I knew I had a network and I knew I could move around and do what I could do. And luckily, we hated the pandemic happened. Zoom became a thing. So I was able to talk to everybody. So yeah, I don't have any regrets. And honestly, I'm going to tell you guys for the ones who are struggling with that, like if you are contemplating that fear, like what's going to happen? What if I fail? I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to bump your head. Okay. It's going to happen. But the goal is to find your thing that you love and how you can make money doing it. And then maybe plugging yourself into different parts of that industry that can bring in that passive income. While you're at this job, figure out where your network is, who's going to send you business, who would be like, oh my goodness, you left your job. Do you need clients right now? Like that's the kind of stuff you need to be working on. And it will help you get past the fear because by the time you're ready to leave, you're going to be like, I'm good. Like I'm ready to dive in. That's what I did. That's why the funding part is a part of the business. I understand that there's going to be slopes. People are going to want coaching, then sometimes they might not. So people are going to need funding and somewhere in one of those industries I'm in. So I'm going to be like, all right, it's time to go into that.
Yeah. So real quick before we bring in our other guests, this has been so girl, I've been over here writing down. So I hope y'all been writing down your notes
Are
because
you?
I sure have. They're in different colors. You know how I am, girl. I don't know
Yes,
why
I
you
do.
come. So but real quick before we move in and bringing in our other guests that's sitting in the green room, today is National Savings Day. What tip can you give someone on this day for national savings?
Honestly, I have to tell you, like, learn where you feel comfortable being frugal. I have to say, like, my office area, most of this stuff came from Marketplace, or it was like planned, a certain way. Like, okay, I know I can get the frames here, I can get the pictures here. I have this budget for a desk, and my desk was free. The guy thought, he felt bad he sold the other one, so he gave me another one free. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take it. So, just this understanding that marketplace is not the devil, have safe practices. I've gone to OfferUp, I've used all of them. And also just, learning where you can save. Like if it's groceries, if it's subscriptions, like if you don't watch all those subscriptions on your TV, then figure out which ones you don't watch the most, take inventory and get rid of them.
I love those tips. So, AJ, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how can they connect with you?
Well, I am everywhere. But on Facebook, if you see my name here, you'll just see me like either with an avatar with braids or curly hair. But you can just type in Ronki or Aunjane, and you will find me everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like I could give you the list, but I'm pretty sure Pamela has my information. Just go there, and you will find me.
Absolutely. So you guys, as we're talking about, show is all about saving life. And what perfect way Anjane has given us some tips. I done wrote mine down. If you guys haven't, you guys go ahead and catch the replay. And then did you see the hashtags, you guys? So use these hashtags around. Yes, it's hashtag domestic violence, hashtag girl talk, hashtag real talk for real people. So, Anjane, I hope you stay around. I hope you stay with us as I bring on our next guest. We would love for you to join us on the next guest. So, hold on here, everybody. I'm going to do a station break and then I'll bring on our next guest. Whoop, whoop. Hey, everybody. My name is Pam. I wanted to welcome you to another edition of Envision Me podcast, the podcast where we're out here helping you define your what's next. Well, how do we do it? Guess what, you guys? Now we have a vision board kit. We have two of them. We have one that is for 30 days where you work on one goal, or you can do the big one where you can work on three goals, but with support. If you're interested in either one of those kits, drop it in the feed. I would love to help you get you to your what's next. And then also today is Win Wednesday. What's your win? I can't wait to hear our wins, but what is your win? And drop it in the feed. Now back to the show of my second guest. So this all is about domestic violence. As you had seen, it is all about saving life. And it's important to understand domestic violence and know there is on the other life on the other side of domestic violence. So I'm going to have on periodically different guests coming on to talk about it. And if you have any questions or comments about domestic violence, please join it, drop it in the feed. I will definitely pass it along to our amazing guest. So let me bring her on now and welcome her to our show. Hello, Latina. How are you?
How are you and everyone else?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing tonight. I'm preparing for my trip, so I'm feeling real good right now.
Ooh, I know that's right. I know
I'm
that's
already
right.
at the ER in the morning.
How
Yeah.
exciting is that? So, as
Mhm.
we were talking about a little bit before I brought you into the back out of the green room, we were talking about domestic violence. So, let's
Mhm.
just sit down and let's talk about it. First of all, I don't want to take away the sadness of what you have faced and endured, but share a little bit of your story with the women around the with the people around the world.
Yeah, so my name is Latina. I am originally from a small town called Steubenville, Ohio. And it's close to Pittsburgh if you're not familiar with that area. And I was actually born, raised there. My grandma actually raised me. Some of what AJ spoke about kind of resonated with me because my grandmother raised me and my sister actually, and that was due to my mom's addiction. And so she raised me, and there was some things that went on in the home that most kids shouldn't experience, and so that's kind of where a lot of my trauma started. Bless her heart, she's no longer with us, but she did the best she could. But growing up, it was really hard for her raising us, of course, and she was older and things like that. But my mom had addiction to drugs, and she was kind of maybe she was making my grandmother was making up for things, and she was an alcoholic. And so a lot of the abuse started there. And I just found out recently, just discussing this again with one of our survivor sisters, that domestic violence is broader than just an intimate partner. So it actually could be a family member, and it could be verbal. And so I'm glad to know that I can actually speak to other portions of domestic violence, because that's kind of where most of my trauma started. And that was right in my home. And so growing up, I dealt with it. And one thing I learned with dealing with it is I never blamed my grandmother for the things that she did, because she learned it from somewhere, right? And so I learned that, yes, although those things were painful at a young age, I learned that, you know what, but she learned this somewhere. And I just thank God that He gave me the wisdom at a young age to not rebel against her. And everything that I did see growing up, it taught me to kind of stay the course. I could have rebelled, I could have been doing God knows what, but I chose to do the right things, even though I seen my mom on drugs, even though I seen things I shouldn't have seen. My mom literally would cook drugs right in front of me. At 12 years old, I knew how to do those things. And so I've seen guns pulled out on my mom. And again, going through all those traumatic experiences, I knew at a young age that those weren't things that, God allowed to, God put me through Himself, but those are things that I experienced from their past, just because they went through those things. So my grandma, like I said, she did her best, but growing up, her being an alcoholic, I felt like I, took a lot of her, whatever she was dealing with, her anger, and she would beat me all the time. And I could have dropped something on the floor, I was beat for it. I was called every name in the book at a young age. And so dealing with those things as a child can really have an impact in your adult life. And I am definitely a testimony on how to overcome those things as well.
Absolutely. Well, I like the way, and let's go back a little bit. And I love the way that you had talked about domestic violence doesn't just come from a loved one. It can come from like you said, it could come from your grandma. It could come from your aunt. It could come from anybody. But I want us to talk on it because so many people are like, well, it doesn't have to be physical. It could be mental. And
Right.
and so I want women to understand. I want not just women. I want people to understand that domestic violence is in so many different forms and fashions, and that we have to speak, we have to talk about it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel that the problem hinders our community because we don't want to talk about it, because we feel that we'll be ashamed, or that we'll be cast out of the community. And I feel that being cast out of the community is better than for your loved ones coming to visit you at the gravesite. So I'm glad you're talking about this. And how do you even, how do we even start the talk? Let's even start there. How do we even begin to start doing what we're doing now?
Oh my goodness. So you are absolutely right. I mean, I may look very young, but I am a little older and seasoned. And so back in that time, I do believe that we are kind of trained to just kind of like be quiet or keep things in the family. And sometimes that is like the very opposite thing that you want to do, because sometimes it's your very own family that is causing the trauma. So reaching out and telling someone what's going on can sometimes actually be the way that you can start your healing process. But for me personally, and even in my adult life and all the other things that I've experienced with my health and things like that, I found that speaking and talking about it actually is where my healing started. And then also recognizing that you aren't the problem. And so
Right.
it took me a while to get to there even. And little do people know that my confidence was like this. People look at me all the time and say, "Oh, you're this, you're beautiful, you should be this, you should do this, you should feel this way." But even to this day, sometimes I'm very cautious about things. I'm very, dimming my light for others. And I feel like a lot of that stuff comes from those traumatic experiences and being told that you're nothing and being told that you're never going to be nothing and being told that you're, all these negative things that, you get told. And so, I just had literally, I swear, I feel like God himself saved me, because my surroundings were not healthy. And my great grandmother, actually, God rest her soul as well, she passed away. She was the one who would take me to church. That was like my safe haven, my safe place. And so I feel like the things that she did by taking me to church and allowing me to come to her house to run to rescue, because I would go to her house when my grandmother was drinking and drunk and I needed to get away and escape. I would go to her and cry and talk to her, and she would tell me all kind of stories and comfort me. And I felt like her setting that foundation with God and how to pray and things like that helped me pray my way to out of those situations mentally, more so, if anything, because of course I was, as a child, I couldn't leave or escape, but mentally I felt like those prayers helped me ultimately, and just have that peace of mind of knowing that this is temporary and I'm gonna come out of this. So having that support person or somebody that you can trust and go to and talk to is definitely something that I feel like helped me in my childhood. And then we'll get into the adult portion of this as well, how I deal with it.
I know it's difficult, but real quick, I want to let everyone know. Actually, I did some research on this as I was getting prepared for tonight's show. I want everyone to know. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm showing up as a you. Oh, okay. I want everyone to understand though, if domestic violence, you guys, is happening every 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds, there's domestic
Yeah.
violence that is happening around the world. So if you know somebody, or if you're going through domestic violence and you're looking for some place or how to get help, here is the number. It's 1-800-SAFE. 1-800-7233. Use it. We want you to be here and understand. Listen, there's help out here, and you can get the help. And I have someone who's a testimony on it. So let's talk about it, Latina, how it's now affecting your adulthood.
Yes, 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 yes. Lots and lots and lots of reflection. And so as human beings, we know when things are off balance, right? You can just kind of feel something in your soul that says something isn't right. You feel overwhelmed. Your anxiety is increased. You're feeling more depressed, and things are just doesn't seem right. Your spirit isn't settled. When I get to those places, I know that something is off, and I need to reflect, readjust, realign, and fall back in line as into what Latina needs and Latina desires. And it's all done out of not being selfish. It's not selfish to sit back and take the time that you need for yourself to reflect and to find out what it is that God is trying to tell you to do to have that inner peace. And so for me, I do take a lot of trips. I do the spa treatments. I do, read books, self-help books. I go in my room, and I have 3 children of my own. And so, and also taking care of my sister's 3 kids. And so I do need that time to, like, my alone time to reflect and to kind of readjust, to say, hey, what am I feeling right now? And you have to be really honest about yourself, honest to yourself about what you're feeling, and ask yourself questions. When I'm in a room alone by myself, I am literally talking to God, like, God, what is wrong? What is going on? Why am I feeling this? If you listen, he'll tell you the answer. And you just take that time alone and you reflect, and okay, I went through this. Why am I feeling this way? Why is this bothering me? Or why do I feel this way when somebody says this? Why is this triggering me? And then it literally kind of ties in together. You'll start to pinpoint where that trigger, or why that trigger is causing those problems. And so for me, abandonment, I have had abandonment issues. So sometimes I'm a little leery of getting into things that people can kind of like abandon me. And so I had to say, hey, why am I fearing this? Okay, I see why I'm fearing this. And then remove that fear, because I know that that's just a trigger of, or something that I've experienced, or a traumatic experience I had in my past. And so that's kind of what I do as an adult. I pay attention to my gut. I pay attention to a spirit. I pay attention to those voices, or whatever you want to call them. You just have to pay attention to them. But the biggest thing that I've learned is not holding those people who have harmed you or have done those things to you. I'm not saying don't hold them accountable, but you can't hold what they did inside and carry it with you, because it's a burden that is not yours to carry. And I say that too because it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. And so I had to learn that holding on to what they did in the past does not help me. And it does not help my future, because all it is going to cause more anxiety and more depression and more anger that's going to build up. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to find that inner peace. And forgiveness is where it is at, basically. That doesn't mean you have to allow the person to continue to hurt you. Doesn't mean you allow people to trample all over you. You do have to set those boundaries. However, healing starts from within. And if you're carrying any toxic or any negativity or any harsh feelings towards people, that's not going to be a good way to start your healing process. So that's what I do.
So true. So I want to first and foremost thank you for even sharing your story. That was brave as itself, as it is. And so thank you so much for sharing. So what I want to do is, if AJ is up to it, I'm going to bring her on, and we're going to do a little bit of girl talk and wrap it up. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey,
welcome
AJ.
back, AJ.
Hey.
So we're going to do us a little girl talk, but we're going to do something fun. I mean, I really appreciate you ladies. This was the most impactful, empowering time that women need to, hear how we can do savings for our life and how we can save our life. But ladies, as you guys are so busy, and actually Latina already talked a little bit about her self-care. So AJ, what do you do for self-care for yourself?
Oh, I make sure I get my quiet time at all times. I have my oils. I don't think we told anybody this on the live, but I do have 6 children. So I need that Zen. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh,
oh, yes. So I have my tub set up with, like, I have my diffuser right there, and I kind of just have my little ambiance where I can just kind of breathe. And then I have my back porch I just finished setting up. So I'm really excited. But I've been sitting out there for like 2 to 3 hours sometimes. Like, oh my goodness, I got to go back inside and make sure the kids are okay. Wow. But that's the thing. And especially, like, I don't like to deprive myself of sleep. But sometimes when the house is quiet, I have to get that Zen. Like, it's not all about sleeping. Sometimes I have to really just sit there and hear the silence, just to take care of my mind, just to hear it all slow down. So that's what I encourage people to do.
I so agree with you. I too do. I actually do mine like at 4 a.m. when the house is quiet and everyone's asleep, even the dog. So I know now he won't bother me and know everybody, but I too do the quiet time. I have to. And I like the way you talked about the Zen. We need to get more connected to our inner self, because I understand life is so crazy, right? We're just now coming out of COVID, and people are still trying to adjust to life after COVID. And so we need to take that time for ourselves. As we talk about self-care, another part of the show, we always talk about book on the shelf. Are you ladies reading any books? And I can't wait to tell you what book I'm reading.
I
Oh, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely am reading a book. I shouldn't say reading. I listen.
Me
So
too.
that's something. Yeah, that's something that I just seem to do better at. Even though they say actually having an actual physical textbook, you can remember things better. But I'm such a like on the go person. So I'm actually reading a book. It's called "You Are the Placebo," and it's
Ooh.
by, let me see, his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Ooh, you guys, like the mind, we all know, right, is super, super, super powerful. It can be a blessing and a curse sometimes. And so I have been reading a lot of books about how the mind works as in humans and how our thinking is the way it is and why it takes that path every time when you're dealing with certain situations. And like down to the neurons and the cellular level, like I'm learning why this cell responds to this encounter and how to block that and things like that. So I am a nurse too, so that could be partly why I'm into this, like on this level, but those books are really helping me with my thought processes. So I want to add that.
Love it. What about
Yeah.
you, AJ? What book are you reading?
You guys, I'm not as fun. So, because I'm in the financial industry and I have a really big focus on psychology, I'm reading a lot of books about like the mind of someone who's in business or sales. So it's like Who Moved My Cheese, The Four Agreements. And then somebody sent me a book called Money is Medicine. I think they want to partner with me. So I'm like reading it right now to kind of see what's up because it's like this community movement. Like, okay, I'm with it. So that's what I have going on over here.
Cool. Well, over here, okay, I'm reading too. AJ, you remember I told you I so this time I am actually reading You Owe You by Eric Thomas. He is my motivator. The book is powerful, powerful. So
Mhm.
let me first say this, everybody, because everybody's like, you guys are getting, your guys are getting endorsements. We're not. I need you to understand that I believe in to get you to your what's next, you have to expand your mind. And what perfect way to expand your mind is by reading. So let me put that disclaimer out. This is all about us just trying to empower you to go after your what's next. But yes, I am reading his book. It is so good. So, so good. You guys got to check it out. And the
Yeah, I
other
love
one,
them.
oh yeah. And the other one I'm reading Happier Hour, which this one is talking about how to use time management. I'm all about bettering and can I tighten up on my time management so I can do some more things in my day. So time management and that book is really good as well. And then ladies, as we are getting ready to shut this show down, two more things. Today is Win Wednesday. And here on Empower Me, we always talk about our win for the week. So who would like to tell me your win for the week?
Okay, I have a lot going on, so I'm going to pick one. I actually was asked to be a partner for a mental health organization that wants to have someone focus on finances for the mental health community. So I have a course coming out for that. It's going to be called Wealth and Mental Health, and it's coming out in November.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
We
Thank
The
definitely have to
you.
stay connected for sure if we can.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And then a quick question I wanted to ask for future. I know I'm getting people like, can we join the live? Is that a possibility?
Yep, absolutely. It's on Facebook right now, but they
That
also can catch it on Facebook right now, or they can go to all the podcast platforms. It will be downloaded there, or you can catch it on YouTube under Vision Made Media. So yes, absolutely.
okay. So
Yeah.
would you actually have to add them in if they're a
Nope,
guest or something?
nope.
Oh, or they can
They
actually
should,
join on here. Okay,
yes,
because
ma'am.
I'm getting people like, can we join? Can I? Because but we're coming to a close now. So for future, maybe we'll try to work that out. But my win, when I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. Right now, I have been going through like what's next, God moment, and that I'm in that space. You know what I mean? So at this point, I just feel like I am winning, when I'm at peace of mind, just knowing that I can trust God with what's next. And that's where I'm at right now. I have a health and fitness company that I've been working hard on. It's my baby. And I'm just kind of asking God what's next for it. And so my win-win is just getting through the week. We're midway and I'm on my way on vacation. I've accomplished getting the kids set up for daycare, my sister's kids, and in school. And I got the house is at peace. That's my win-win. Win-win as of Wednesday. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm looking to move forward with the business and just see where God wants to take it next. I have big goals for it, a big vision for it. But I'm in a financial situation where I'm trying to see where God is taking me to be able to supply the business for the needs that it needs to get to that level. So
I
that's where
understand. Well,
yeah.
actually, AJ might be able to help you there, but I truly understand about it, and I am a testimony, you guys. I am actually a customer of hers, or client, however you want to say it, of her. I actually have one of her products, and it's the World
Yay!
Waist Trainer. So I've been using it faithfully. I was gonna call
Yay!
you one day and say, "Girl, I can't
Yeah,
figure this out," but I figured it out. I took my
you
time,
figured
like
it.
you told me, and I figured it
Yeah.
out. So I'm telling you guys, I am. Listen, I keep trying to tell you, when I connect to these ladies, I connect to them. It's just like not passing on the street. I really do connect with these ladies. And so I want you
Wow.
all to know that these ladies that I bring on they're doing their thing. I promise you, they're doing their
Mhm.
thing. And I
Yeah.
want you all to understand. So my win for this week is actually I was just booked to be on a radio station. Can't will be able to tell you what it is soon once I've been told where it's at, but I've been booked on a radio station, as well as I just did an interview with someone else on their podcast. I'll drop it in the link before, so if you would like to hear that as well, I would love it. And then I just did a magazine article. I
Oh,
just wrote a magazine article as well. But yes, so Vision Made is out here. We're going to do our thing out here, ready to empower women as such as yourselves. And we're going after our what's next, ladies. Ladies, you guys were so amazing. And I so
thank
appreciate you
you.
both for coming
Oh,
on here. This was fun. I would love to have you both come back on again before
yes.
we close down. Latina, what is your last remark you would like to leave the ladies with?
I really just want to encourage people to just find yourself, love yourself, find your peace, and don't worry about what people say about you being selfish. I know, like AJ says, she has 6 kids, which I am like, I commend you for that because I got 3, but I have my sister's 3, and it's driving me crazy. And I don't know how you do it, girl. I'm just like, but God laid it on my heart to take them in. And so I'm just trying to find that space. And so balance, everything is about balance. Don't look at somebody else's life and say, well, they're doing this and I'm not doing this. God has a vision and a purpose for you. Focus on that, find your peace, and take it one day at a time. That's what I will say.
Love it.
Yes.
Mhm.
AJ, what's yours?
Mine is, I want to talk to the person who's really trying to figure out what's next. And maybe you're watching the replay and you're like, your mind is going, like you're hearing us talk about all this stuff. Honestly, I encourage you to take one step towards your dream. Just do a little research, watch some videos, get you some motivation going, talk to someone, reach out to a coach, even a consultant. Like, what does it look like to start a business like this? That's how I got started. I really taught myself a lot of this stuff,
Mhm.
so don't be afraid to teach yourself. Be willing to have conversations and interview people to see if they're even able to help you. Don't feel like you don't have time. You do. Okay, you can make this happen. If you really want it and you want to change your life, you can make it happen. So get some discipline and let's get it done and figure out what's next.
Yeah.
Yay.
This was so cool, you guys. So I want everyone to know, as I have the amazing guests here, I want you all to know, though, you only have one life to live, you guys. Live it
Mm.
to the fullest and live it as it is your life. Because you know what? We don't get
Yes.
another chance. God's only going to give us once, and we have to figure this out. And knowing that if you're needing support, you have a support, you have a tribe. I have these ladies who's now
Yes.
part of the tribe, and I have thousands of other women behind us. So we are here to help you to get you to your what's next. But as AJ said, and even Latina said, you have to do that first step. You have to take it and take it for you. So note that we're here for you, and that, oh, I forgot to tell you, and how was your day today? No one has not asked you, but know that you are powerful and you're out here. You can make your vision made how you want to do it. Until next week, you guys, when I have another amazing women coming to the show. Thank you. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Don't hang up, ladies.